so I did stand up and address the team and told them that they didn't have to like me, that's their choice. They did not have to like me, but I was there to play ball, and I was there to win a championship, and I was there to be a teammate, and if you couldn't get along with me, then you messed with me, come and do it now. We're out there working, and we need to work together. Don't bug me on the field in a negative way.
So your rookie year, teams up and down, you had knee surgery, and the prognosis was pretty grim. And the team doctor said to the powers that be, had I seen this knee before you signed your deal with the great Joe Namath, I would have said don't sign him. I mean, that's how serious the knee was.
Yes, and he told me that. Dr. Jim Nicholas told me that. He said, had I known what your knee was like before we opened it up, he said, we wouldn't even drafted you. And I said, boy, that would have been one hell of a mistake, huh? I promise you. Yeah. And he laughed about it, I laughed about it. But that was the truth.
I mean, he said, I'll give you 4 years on this leg.
Yes,
at
that's
best.
right. I asked what he thought. He said, I think you can play 4 years. I think you can play 4 years, and I started thanking God for that opportunity.
How important was winning a championship at that level to you?
First of all, it was an opportunity for a dream to come true because, again, as an athlete, I remember Little League, baseball, football, whatever, you're trying to win a championship. You're trying to win the championship. Your team, you're trying to be the best on any level, high school, college, and here we are, pro ball, trying to win the championship. Working our way up, getting better. 66 was a slump year, you know, something.
And you got hit and hit and hit. I mean, hitting Joe Namath became a game within a game in those AFL tilts you were in. I mean, it was a free-for-all back then on the quarterback.
Well, you live and learn, that's right. As Don Maynard said prior to the game, the MVP of the team was the most valuable physician. Whatever doctor could take care of the guys, and the name of the game was kill the quarterback. You know, and to this day, if you could knock the other team's ball handler out, if you could knock the #1 quarterback out, I promise you the guy that comes in for him is not as good. Your chances of winning the game go up because you're defenseless. You're just standing there, you're looking around, guys are coming at your legs, they're coming late, they're hitting you from behind, they're falling on top of you. You know, the hit's one thing, but hitting the ground's another thing. The head hits the ground and all. They had to do something, the league I'm talking about, to keep the quality of the game better. Because you knock out the #1 guys who are gifted, that can throw a little bit better than the other guys or whatever, then you're not going to get the kind of performance that you'd like to get.
Can you put into words how much pain you're in back then?
You know, there's debilitating pain. There's some pain that you just can't handle. All of us can be brought to our knees with physical pain. I remember sometimes until the smelling salts takes place, whether you're on the sidelines or on the field. You just, it's sudden.
And you go back in.
You go back in because it was normal. It was normal way of going. You got your bell rung when it was a head
That's
thing.
what they said, right? There was a nice way of saying you had a brain injury.
Oh, yeah. That's fact.
That's what it is. Hey, you know, we rung his bell. He got his bell rung. He's back in there. And now it's a real issue for the current and future state of the National Football League.
Yes, it is. It has become that, and in a sense, more importantly, for everyday people, football just happened to show it because the guys, Dave Duerson, who took his own life, Junior Seau, Mike Webster went through some stuff. These guys kind of brought it to the forefront of recognition. There was no help. These guys didn't get any help of any kind of treatment to maybe alleviate or lessen the trauma that was brought to them, because that brain, you know, it runs the rest of the show, man.
1967, you throw for over 4,000 yards. that was unbelievable at the time. That just didn't happen.
Boy, this is, this is nice, folks. I don't talk much about that. This was a 14-game schedule, too. It wasn't 16 games, and that number of yards by a team passing the ball through the air held up for many years after, until they changed the rules, actually. But Don Maynard, George Sauer, Big Boy Pete Lamon, Snell, Boozer, Mathis, our offensive line, we were throwing that rock downfield.
Now you're in your 4th year, and as a group, we're good enough to win.
We believe that. Yes, we did.
You guys go 11-3 in 1968. Now you're in the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. So now there's going to be, just for means of an education, an AFL championship game, and the winner of that game will go on to play in what we know as the Super Bowl. So you have the Raiders, this hated Raiders team. You'd only beat them once.
They were good. Their ownership, Al Davis, bless him, man, he was sensational, Brooklyn guy, that really had his style. And the Raiders had their style, even though that was the toughest game physically that I had ever played in.
You would not come out of that game. That's why he was known. You were known as one of the toughest guys in the history of pro football.
I was fortunate. Again, some injuries can be debilitating, and some just hurt. And if you're fortunate enough to where it hurts, but you can play through it, you're fortunate, yeah.
How satisfying was that win to give to that organization and those fans to beat the Raiders in the AFL championship?
For more than one reason, Joe. Again, to have the opportunity to go to the championship game, man, and then to beat a team that has been traditionally a major foe because they were so good.
But nobody, yeah, go ahead, let them hear it. We have to set this up again, though, because you're the AFL champions. This is Super Bowl III, and you go into this game against an awesome Colts team, and they are favored in Super Bowl III by 17 points going in. I mean, the odds are hard to overcome going into this game. And you make a guarantee at a banquet that week of the Super Bowl that you're going to win.
Everyone and everyone, the media anyway, and the sports world talking about how great the Colts were, and they did have a wonderful team. But if you can imagine being told yourself that you're not good enough, you're not going to win. If you're constantly being told for 10 days, a couple of weeks prior to the contest that you don't have a chance. Excuse me? We didn't get to the level we were in as competitors thinking we didn't ever have a chance or thinking that someone was going to whip us. We knew that we were in for a battle, but I don't think any of us, having confidence in ourselves, having confidence in our team, should accept the fact or should accept being told you're not going to. Well, excuse me, why do we play the game? We're going to find out.
We have this quote on the wall, which I love, and I think it fits in right here. When you have confidence, you can have a lot of fun. And when you have fun, you can do amazing things. You had the confidence, if the outside world didn't have it, that the Jets were good enough to win this Super Bowl.
Had the confidence, believed we could, but the other teams didn't have the kind of team we had.
The guarantee, is that a bigger deal? Is that less of a deal than we should make of it? It was at a banquet. Were you just tired of everybody saying Baltimore, 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 or was it a real thing, and did it factor into what happened that Sunday?
It